Soundstripe.
Welcome to South End Supporters, a St. Louis City SC podcast powered by Ready to Live Wellness and coming at you from the Warrior Logo Wear Studios. David Heck alongside Eric Cole and the Monday morning center back Dave Wyckoff. Our second episode of the week. Last episode, I should say, talked about the big win over San Jose at home as City grabs 3 big points, and now it's time to preview the week ahead and, of course, get into those Felix's Pizza Pub South End submissions that we all love so much. Eric, David, it's been only a few minutes since you and I have spoke as we just recorded the first episode of the week, but for the people listening, it's been days. Has anything changed since we last spoke as far as mood goes, energy? I know Eric was burning incense earlier. I think it was of the lavender variety. I think the shirt Eric is wearing is also lavender. It looks like. It's hard to tell from here, but how are we this evening?
Well, we smell fantastic between our incense and our fragrance collections. We have to be the most olfactory pleasing podcast in STL history. Most pleasing to the olfactory senses.
Olfactory. Yeah, that's like the sense of smell, Eric.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How about that?
Yeah.
Never heard.
I do think we're the best smelling podcast. I think we can call ourselves that.
I think we will.
that might be official.
I think we will. Let's go ahead and do that. We are.
I'll tell you what. If we have to go into a competition to represent ourselves, DH, we're sending you in to.
Yeah, he called team
represent us.
Yeah.
Footy and fragrances.
Ooh, that's a spin-off cast.
Get the marketing department on it. Have we hired somebody for that, by the way?
Yeah, we're still looking.
Yeah.
Tell you what, we should each Thursday slob episode. I want a fragrance of the week, and then you can get it with Footy and fragrance, and you give us a.
I want to spray it into the microphone too. We'll get a little ASMR going on the spray.
Let's do it.
My fragrance of the week is buffalo sauce. That's the Thursday fragrance. It is buffalo wing.
Oh,
Depending
buffalo
on
wing.
who you ask, that's up there.
You know what you can do with buffalo? You can put buffalo chicken inside of a kolache, Dave. I have heard, and I have tasted. I have tasted as well.
Oh my god, that's so hot!
It is.
They
and
don't
you can
have
do
that yet at STL. Do they have that at
Yes,
STL
they
Kolache?
do.
Oh
I've
my
eaten
gosh,
them, Dave.
I'm
Yeah,
so
baby.
hung up on the chicken enchilada and the sausage. Chorizo and the sausage gravy and the meatball. I don't have time. I don't have time for all these kolaches, David. I just don't.
You need to go stuff one of those buffalo chicken kolaches into that little mouth of yours, Dave.
Oh, that's so hot. I will stuff myself, silly boy. We'll have to go to Sunset Hills for that, and I'll go visit my buddy EC at STL Kolache in Sunset Hills, the home of the original chicken enchilada kolache, 1530 South Kirkwood Road at the intersection of Kirkwood Road and Watson next to Highway 44. STL Kolache, that's where they make breakfast better, DH, and they can hook you up. They can hook you up. They can cater your events. You can help out. You can treat your coworkers or your friends or some supporter groups to some delicious kolaches. Could not recommend that anymore. 1530 South Kirkwood Road. But what they bring us right now is the match week preview. That's what they bring us right now. So coming off a win, which is great. We haven't got to say that in the MLS play in a long time. City are going to travel out to Portland for Sunday night soccer against the Portland Timbers and Timber Joey. And I actually learned that
his name's Timber Joey. I was getting ready to call him Timmy Timber. I couldn't remember what his name is.
Oh, that would be so much better.
Timmy Timber's better.
Their marketing sucks.
They messed up.
Yeah, they messed
little
up
Timmy
big time.
Timber.
But I actually learned recently that one of the fine ladies that shares our season ticket holders, part of our season ticket group, when she lived in Portland, she is a Portland native. Shout out Tess. And they used to hang out with Timber Joey. Used to bar hop with Timber Joey back in the day when they used to go.
Did he carry the chainsaw around with him?
You know, I didn't ask that. I should. Man, see, my journalism was bad. My journalistic instincts are not great. This insurance world has just melted my brain in terms of actually being creative or having any sort of real drive for anything that actually matters. But when she was going to Timbers games before they were an MLS team, so that's how far back she goes with Timber Joey. But City are heading out that way. This will be the 6th meeting all time, I believe, against Portland. City is 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss against Portland in their short history. They're catching the Timbers at a good time, DH, and let me tell you why. The Timbers have only scored 3 goals in their last five matches, which normally when we're talking about the lack of scoring goals, we're talking about City. But in the Critchley
Not this City team, Dave. Not this City.
In the Critchley era, you know what the least amount of goals they've scored in the Critchley era is? And this is wild. 2.
It's 2.
It's 2.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
Not only that, Critchley, by the way, has the highest winning percentage in City history.
He does. That's incredible, right? And he's got a solid plus minus, right? We're in the positive plus minus. I know that's really important to you.
It is. I love that stat.
Portland sits 4th in the West with 7 wins, 5 draws, and 4 losses. They've got 25 goals for and 22 against, a total of 26 points. But they're struggling right now. They won their last match against Colorado, but before that they dropped 2 straight 1-0 decisions, one against Orlando, who are pretty good this year, and one against San Jose, who City just knocked off. Before that, they drew against the Sounders 1-1, and going back 5 games, they drew against Real Salt Lake 0-0. So they're having trouble securing results, and they're having trouble scoring goals. So City's got that going in their favor. Now, City have scored 6 goals in their last 5 games, which last I checked, 6 is more than 3. I'm not a math guy, but I think that maths. City haven't kept a clean sheet in 6 games, which is kind of wild to me. That this was a team we were talking about how defensively they started the season off and how we don't think they're going to commit that much defense anymore. So not sure if how the clean sheets are going to come, but I think City has a fighting chance in this game. Vegas does not agree, by the way, DH. I don't know.
See that.
I don't know what the DraftKings numbers are early on, but Portland is a heavy favorite. I believe minus 250. I'm trying to bring it up on my screenshots.
Seems high.
In the tie no bet. Oh, it's even worse. Portland is a minus 290 favorite on FanDuel. St. Louis City with a plus 240 dog on FanDuel. There was no draw odds on the three-way bet. So that was locked out.
I've got them. So City's a plus 300 on the money line, 3-way money line. Portland's a minus 140, and there's a 280 draw option. Draw no bet. Portland's a minus 295, but City's a plus 215. So again, with FanDuel, you're getting better return on your money for betting the underdog.
Yeah.
I think it's just a better bet. I don't know why I'm still on this app. Obviously, I can't win on it. So we learned that a couple of weeks back. But no, I think that makes sense. I don't like. Let me tell you something, guys. So I stopped betting corners. We know this. I stopped betting them because what happened was I drove the market too high.
You did.
So all of a sudden now the MLS, this guy's on to us.
Yep.
Pumped it up too much. I think a lot of people listening were betting corners too. We got to get the line up there a little bit. They brought that line up to like 9.5 every week. It's hard. It's a hard number to bet. That's a lot of corners. They dropped it back down last week. And there were 15 corners in the game against San Jose.
There were a lot.
There were a lot. Yeah.
I'm expecting a bunch. I don't know what it is yet. The line isn't out on DraftKings for corners. That usually comes out a little bit later on in the week. By the time this episode airs, I suspect it will be. I'm going to smash that over this week, Dave. Smash it.
It's interesting. You got a long week, another Sunday night soccer, which has not been super successful for City. They've only got 1 win in 4 tries at Sunday night soccer this season.
And that's about like the rest of the games. I mean, to be completely fair.
I mean, we're just looking for metrics here, okay? Yeah. We're looking for ways to compare results. They have played some solid teams in Sunday night soccer. I will throw that. Outside of the Galaxy win, which was early on in the season, they've dropped a 2-1 decision to Columbus Crew. They drew LAFC 2-2, and they lost to, I believe it was Austin, 1-0 in Sunday night soccer back in March. So been some tough competition on Sunday nights, which is a primetime game. I guess you would kind of expect the bigger fan bases like that are going to be the better teams. I give City a fighting chance. I would love to have the convenience of waiting until the first training midweek to see what the training room is going to look like and whether or not it's going to be the same lineup or whether or not like you're going to see Zonde instead of Teutschert starting this game. Whether or not you're going to see maybe Totland starting on the right instead of Zielinski starting, I tend to think that Krish might go with the same lineup, all things being equal. So we'll see. The turf
minus Wallum.
Well, yeah, minus Wallum. So you're going to see. I guess you might see Morales.
Morales in there, yeah.
Although the way that Ostrak plays a lot more like Wallum does, as far as like movement off the ball and progressing the ball through the middle. So that'll be interesting to see. I don't think that makes or breaks your decisions. I did read that Leuven admitted that he had some pain prior to that game on Saturday, but he still played the full 90. So we'll have to see. The turf is a factor. I know with some of these guys with these lingering knocks, they might not last as long on turf or have a little bit more different of little bit different impact. But you got to ride the wave, right? Portland not scoring a lot lately. I think this pacey City team might give them some problems. I'm gonna go because City doesn't keep clean sheets anymore. I'm gonna go same prediction I did last week. I'm going to go 2-0 STL City over Portland. Actually, I just said I'm not going to predict a clean sheet. I'm going to go 2-1.
That's exactly what you said.
I did. 2-1. It is. Yeah, we'll cut that out in post. 2-1 City. 2-1. It is.
I agree with what you said as far as run back out the same lineup. And if you can't, I would say a like for like, and you play the same exact style. Reason being is Portland is very similar to where San Jose, where they do their best stuff on the counterattack. And I feel like you do the same thing you did against, you play the counterattack and try and beat them to that with speedy wingers that can recover and get back on defense and make up that ground. So to me, I'm with you. I think you ride that high, you ride the players that are best informed, that are the healthy that you have available, and if not, a like for like. I would say maybe the fact that he put Morales in over Ostrak to finish out that game was more defensive, but I think Ostrak is more of a like for like than to Wallum, and probably Ostrak's probably a little bit further along fitness wise, and you just run the same sort of deal if have Morales come in and finish out the game. Hopefully you're up at a 2-0 lead. Portland is doing way better than I thought, considering they lost Evander, who was their star, their leader, and everything like that. But Anthony's kind of taken up that role as far as being their most creative, I would say, on there. But DaCosta's kind of picked up that little central attacking mid role. So shutting down Acosta, I feel like if you shut him down in the middle of the field, you could shut down Anthony out on the wings and then keep track of Felipe Mora up top. It is a tough place to go out in Portland. It's tough to also have that later game, turf, all that things considered. But I feel like if we could truly capture the energy, the momentum, and just the pure joy that it seemed like City had playing again, I'm going 2-1. I think it's going to be the same result. I think it'll be another deal where they'll catch one, but I'll still feel like we were pretty much in control of the game, and I still feel like there's going to be typical City where we leave goals on the table, but I think it finishes out 2-1 out in Portland City.
Eric, it's a pacey team. This is a pacey team. A pacey team that all of a sudden gets a lot of shots. They're going to press, and to be expected, they'll probably get countered at times as well. But it's a good defense with a world-class keeper in net. So I am looking at that, and I am done predicting scores from here on out. Instead, I am predicting total corners. And because of what I just stated, I think we're going to see a lot of shots. I think we're going to see a lot of blocked shots. And I think we're going to see a lot of corner attempts. And I'm going 12. 12 is my number. That's what we're going to see.
When you brought up the number earlier on, I was like, well, yeah, that probably has to do a lot with two counter-attacking teams and then getting around out the wing on the counter, and then defender makes a play, so it goes out for a corner, and you're happy to take that because it gives you a little break from the pressing style and the counter-attacking style for you guys to kind of reset. And so when you kind of said that, I was like, oh, yeah, that's probably why there were so many corners. And you said, what, 15?
15.
What was the line? Because I remember you guys were talking
9.
last week, and I think it was 9. And I was like, wow, that seems high. So now I hate to think, though, what the line.
No,
so
DraftKings is not going to catch on to this. They don't know about styles. They have no idea who the coach of this team is.
No.
Brendan McSorley will be a heavy favorite to score a goal in this game at some point, I would imagine. I'm going to say we're going to go 12. 12's the number. 12 corners. I'm telling you, it's going to be a bunch of them.
Now, Dave, you said you gave your score prediction, but are you giving scorer prediction? You've kind of done that most of the episodes.
I did. I picked Jacques Klaus to score the charity challenge last week, and it hit. Wow. That was strong.
Nice.
Yeah. That's a good question. I think, Klaus is going to stay on a hot streak. Give him at least one. Give him at least one of those two. DH, I met Away Evening 7447 before the game. Didn't get a real name, but...
Are you serious?
Would they introduce themselves as that?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But he did mention that, hey, I'm Away Evening 7447, so if you ever feel like talking about betting, I'm your guy. So I tried to get him to explain the Asian handicap to me again, and I can't follow any of it.
I can't either. You could explain that to me 100 times. I don't get it.
It's like trying to teach Jenkins how to play euchre. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's a good analogy for the three people that get that.
3 people, like literally 3 people that get that.
Yeah, literally 3 people. Yeah. Even the guy you're talking about, I don't think would understand that you were making a joke about it.
No idea.
He's far too high at this point. That's the STL Kalachi Match Week preview, brought to you by, of course, STL Kalachi, 1530 South Kirkwood Road in Sunset Hills. We move from one food to another. It is the Felix's Pizza Pub South and Submission segment, our favorite segment, the segment for the people, 6401 Clayton Avenue in Dogtown. Check them out. They are the spot to go watch any and all away games and home games, for that matter, as well. Official City on Tap bar, so you know you're going to be able to go there. Eric, one of the things I like about watching soccer out in public is when the audio is on inside the bar. You and I have had experiences before where we went to other City on Tap bars. They had the game on, but did you hear the game? Did you hear the game, Eric?
No, I heard, whoever was having his, Saturday night jam session out there.
Yeah, they had a guitar player. And do you like it? I like guitar.
I do.
You
like
guitar. We all like guitar.
Music.
I don't want to hear it when I'm trying to watch the game. It should be on the loudspeaker. You know where you're going to get the loudspeaker? You're going to get the speaker, the audio quality at Felix's every single time. You can't go wrong there. The best pizza and wings in the entire area, hands down, and they're huge slices. The jalapeno ranch drizzle. Dave, I see your finger up. I will call on you shortly because I know you got something to say about it. If you want to put meatballs on the pie, put meatballs on the pie. Dave likes to do it. You can throw anything you want on there. They got all sorts of different toppings for all sorts of different tastes, and the best wings. They are award-winning, similar to this podcast, award-winning wings. They have at Felix's Pizza Pub at 6401 Clayton Avenue in Dogtown. Dave, please let us know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, so immediate post-game celebration was Michelob Ultra Club, and Eric was there. And then secondary post-game celebration was at the pitch. But tertiary celebration, Eric was not able to join us. He has a family that missed him desperately, so he had to leave us at that point. But we went to Felix's, and we went with the Zarings to Felix's and knocked out a late night one. And
nice.
it was so good. It had been far too long. Dogtown.
What was fun?
What
was funny is I was the one who suggested it.
He did.
I was like joking around, and I was like, what would hit the spot right about now?
God, you guys went hard.
We did.
And you said like I could go for some Felix's, and I thought you were just kind of like joking, and then it turns out.
Well, I mean, I know that Z is always down for some pizza and wings, and Mrs. Z was clearly down for whatever. Sarah had turned into Shara at that point, and she was down for literally anything. So yeah, we ended up at Felix's.
We're gonna say literally anything, but
Dogtown was the slice. Thai chili wings on the offensive. She picked Thai chili wings. They were really good. They were really good. Yeah, man. Nobody does it like Felix's. So good. So shout out to them. I had to get that because it was the perfect cap to a really, really pony of a day. That's what it was. It was a pony.
Another confirmation as well of a couple making it because they're opposite on their wing stance.
Oh my gosh.
They're
which one's flat? Which one's drummy?
Ben, I believe, is drummy, right?
Ben's a dummy.
Sarah was flat.
Sarah is the smart one in the relationship, and she is team flat.
Wow, it's interesting, because Sarah and I are both drummies. It's kind of amazing that we've made it this far. God, it really is.
I thought you said she was flat.
No, she's drumming.
That was where we confirmed the theory.
No, she's team drummer.
She's drumming.
Yeah.
Oh, was she? I didn't think.
Yeah.
Theory
I think
gone.
Dave and Katie are flat and drumming, aren't they?
Yeah.
Aren't you guys flat
we
and
are.
drumming? Yeah.
We are. She does it just to spite me, though, like most things in life.
Yeah. You and Kristen are flat and drumming. Sarah and I are both drumming. Yeah. It's weird, man. I don't know. In a
Theory
world
gone.
where not a lot makes sense, that's another thing that defies all odds.
Yeah. Fat Lord Colton went to Felix's.
Say shout out Federal
Yeah.
Colton. He checked it out.
They
too.
went to Felix's before they went home. He never did say where he's actually from, but he said it was south of Poplar Bluff.
Whoa.
Yeah, he always says south, and then he'll be like, "It's
Yeah.
a small town you never heard of," and I'll be like,
So
well,
they went back.
I've got family down that way, so I might very well know of it. I'm
Yeah.
curious.
He
where
was
he's
awesome.
from.
They were awesome. They brought their helmets. There's some really cool pictures of the Fandalor, them hanging out with the Fandalorians and stuff. But yeah, good stuff, man.
Eric, kick us off.
Yeah, let's do it. Felix's Pizza Puff South End submissions. One last thing I will say. I think to be a city on tap bar, I think you must hit all senses. And Felix has hit that with smell, taste, visualizing, watching the game. But one of the big things is also getting the ears, hearing the game. So I think that should be the qualification for being a city on tap bar is, do you check all senses going forward? So we'll kick this week off with Instagram. We'll go to our man, Eric O'Donnell, the fellow South Ender. And he said, for the podcast, should we be reading anything into Nicholas Giacchini being at Saturday's game? Would love to get him back. Yes, he was in attendance that day. And I don't know if they put him up on the big screen. Did you see if they put him up on the big screen
I didn't
or not?
see if they did or not. I just know that he was.
I know it got around.
He got
when he was there, yeah.
Where's Waldo'd quite a bit.
Oh, did it? Yeah. So I don't know. For me personally, I'm not reading into it. I think he's come back a couple times, and I just think he's also, or his family's from, or he's from Kansas City, right? Like,
Yeah.
So it's not too big of a drive, and from my understanding, he hasn't really been playing much in Greece. I think is his last club.
City's about to have
and
an opening. At the
they're
end
probably
of
on their off.
June.
Would you bring him back?
In a minute.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
Now, I don't know if he fits with what Critch wants to do, but I mean, he's shown the chemistry to put the ball in the back of the net, and he gets people excited, and he also gets people really angry. But hey, we want fire and passion, and that dude, he brought it. Whether you loved him or hated him, he invoked emotion. Absolutely, I'll
Imagine
bring him
that.
back.
Let me ask you a question here. When Scott Hall and Kevin Nash appeared on Monday Nitro for the first time, right, and they sat in the crowd, we all anticipated that they would be a part of that roster as well. I think you could be onto something. Why else would he be here? He's shown up a couple of times. Obviously, still enjoys it, misses it. And then before you knew it, those two took over the broadcast, and NWO was formed.
So then, by that logic, then the next step is for him to be like sitting in the supporter section and somebody to go down, and he steps over the wall and
Could happen.
right onto the bench and throws some boots on, tears away his shirt to reveal a city kit, and goes
Oh,
out
my
there.
God.
And goes out there. But then he turns heel on City, and
Yeah.
he scores an
No, that
intentional
wouldn't
own
be
goal.
good.
Oh,
not
that's
be
appointment
good.
television right there.
Yeah, but that was Hogan. That was Hogan. I mean, Hall and Nash didn't turn. They were already like that. So, I mean, Hogan was the third man, right? So, I don't know. I think it could work. And I like where you're
exciting.
headed,
It's exciting.
except for the heel turn.
It's exciting.
Maybe if they follow that storyline, it would be like when they're announcing the starting 11 over the loudspeaker, and they're like, in one last entry into the starting 11, and then it's like he comes out of the supporter section, everybody gets all hyped, and then he rips off and he's wearing the SKC.
Oh, no, Eric.
Everybody's
No.
like,
No,
everybody's like, whoa,
Eric.
that's a heel turn right
That is
there.
that
would be
man.
the heel
You
turn.
could have written for WWE in the '90s, late '90s, early 2000s. That's attitude era right there. That's good stuff.
There we go. You know who else always brings that attitude each week? It's our buddy Andy Sharoni. He said, oh, that sinking feeling when SJ scored in the 83rd minute. Betcher and Klaus had impactful games. Could you hear the excitement in the supporters section after the late goal? I mean, I think DH probably heard it from the softball tournaments, the excitement after the late goal. Like, just the feeling of like, hey, we didn't do it again. You know what I mean? Like, that's when when they scored, like, it was just that all feeling of like, here we go again. We did it again. But yeah, I mean, it was, gotta love good excitement. Just any reason to feel excited right now because it was feeling bleak. So yeah, we'll go to the South State supporter, our buddy Jeff Thornborough. What an exciting match. Mrs. South State was bent over with hands on knees before the PK, then changed positions to hands at the face praying. What a perfect script for Leuven's return. Interesting that all the outfits, socks, shoe changes that were made to break the mojo, and all it took was for both of you not attending to get a win. Also me wearing Scott Bloomquist t-shirt, the South State supporter, and Great American. Well, I was there still, Jeff, just in a different section, which does worry me that I do need to change. Although I did mention this pregame because you guys pointed out my shoes, and I said I rotate my shoes each game depending on how. So looks like the Bart Simpsons are going to be hanging around.
The Bart
for a little
Simpson
while.
shoes have the mojo. That was those things are wild, man.
Right. I remember the inaugural year. I didn't wash my jersey because for the first like 4 or 5 games, because I knew like I could get away with it during the cold months. But we're getting into I mean, this is where DH's cologne would really come in handy.
Oh yeah,
if,
nothing like covering up BO with cologne. That's a great combo.
Are there like, no, we're getting back to the sense. Are there colognes that are like almost more for that purpose, like extremely strong to
They're
where,
called deodorant.
like we were talking about, well, obviously, but it's the shirt. It wouldn't be me. It would be the shirt that stinks. So then it's like, is there there can't be like a complimentary smell to sweaty jersey shirt, is there?
I mean, there's listen, Eric. You've been on the internet long enough. There's something for everybody.
Oh goodness.
I think that's possible,
gracious. We have taken a turn.
but this is getting into a South End supporter after dark episode.
Yeah, this is
which,
Jeff, and this is Jeff. Jeff, I think, might be a TMA listener. That submission read like an email of the day.
Yeah, a lot of his do, which
Yeah.
I truly I wish they were kind of all like that, to be honest.
It'd be great. It'd be good and bad.
It would be good and bad. I like it. I don't know, Eric. I'm not sure on that. I think we could be on to something. Maybe like a body spray, something that's kind of overwhelming, but maybe doesn't last as long. It's not a true cologne, but kind of like a deodorant, like a spray. You could probably like spray deodorant, all over you. That'd probably work okay, I guess.
South End Sweat.
Seems like it'd be
Get the marketing
terribly
department on it.
Marketing department.
Do you guys, touching on his submission before we move on, do you guys have a PK stance that you guys, stick with? Like when there's, or like a nerve-wracking moment within a game, do you have a go-to like position that you get in that you feel is like lucky or anything like that? Like I'm with her where I'm the hands over the nose, kind of like praying. I'm usually biting at my fingers or something like that. Do you guys have anything like that, or are you normal?
I'm pretty normal.
I like a nice ready position.
Yeah. Hands on the knees, Dave?
Yep. On my hands.
Yeah.
I was thinking you were in like a 3-point stance or something like that.
Ready position. Yeah.
Dave used to make
we
his
go.
knees touch his elbows.
Yeah.
Back in
Yeah.
Yeah.
That song was actually about me.
it was.
Yeah. It's hot.
Glad you're still collecting royalty off it. And of course, we are back. Took a week off, but we can't stay away forever. We're back with Ryan Cadlick and some Cadlick combat. He said, finally a win after almost 3 long months, and boy, did it feel good to celebrate. We need a lot of friendly results to work our way back into the playoff picture, and got a few this weekend already. To celebrate, this week's battle is all characters whose names start with W. I can already hear the complaining that someone like Walter White didn't make the cut, but we need some competitive matches. He would have roasted the competition. This is the last participant in the first ever King of Champions round. Here's the list of who made it so far. We've got the King from Burger King, Ronald McDonald, Happy Gilmore, Mr. Crab, Heifer from Rocco's Modern Life, White Goodman from Dodgeball, and Eric Cartman. Who will step into the ring with them? Same rules as always. 1v8, 2v7, 3v6, and 4v5. Random encounter. Characters can fight with any objects they would reasonably have on them. Seating's made by ChatGPT, so here we go. At number 1, we've got Wormtail from Harry Potter. Number 2, we've got Winnie the Pooh. 3 is Willy Wonka. 4 is Wario from Mario. 5, we've got Woody from Toy Story. 6, we've got Waluigi from Mario. 7, we've got Woody the Woodpecker. And 8, we've got War Turtle from Pokemon. So, starting out, we've got Wormtail taking on War Turtle. And I'm sure neither of you guys have any clue on either of those.
You know,
I have no idea who either one of them is.
There was a suggestion from KVK about Cadlet Combat. And by the way, the people love Cadlet Combat from what I can tell. But KVK had a suggestion on Cadlet Combat that we stagger them every other week to give ourselves time to get to know the combatants. And I don't think that's a terrible idea because I feel like making snap judgments discredits this glorious segment. So my 2 cents, if we could start doing that every other week, it may or may not be of more complementary to Cadlet Combat. But no, I have no idea who the 2 of those are. Maybe it means I'm
going
old.
into this. After this week, it will be all the championship rounds, so we'll all be a little bit more familiar with the people. But
Yeah.
you're saying like each week we almost have like a what was that UFC like lead up documentary series they used to have where it would be like
Ultimate
Embedded.
Fighter.
Embedded.
Oh,
Is that what
yeah.
I'm thinking of?
Yeah,
The Ultimate Fighter's back
on.
on, by the way. I'm watching the Ultimate Fighter. It started last
Yeah.
week.
What is it? Cormier and
Yeah,
who
Cormier and
else?
Chael.
They're not fight like that used to be. The
No,
thing,
they're
was
not
they
going to
would
fight
at the
but
end, right?
they're talking a little
miss-
trash. It's fun.
Cadlet Combat
Well,
embedded,
those 2 would be great at that.
embedded with
It's like a
Waluigi
24/7, like a
Yeah.
20 Cadlet Combat 24/7.
What are the
Just have
names
cameras
of the
following
What are the
them
names
around.
of these 2 characters again? I'm going to go just based solely on name.
So Wormtail from Harry Potter and War Turtle from Pokemon. For me, it's War Turtle
War
since I know
yeah.
who both these
War
characters
Turtle.
are.
It's that one.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we're having Winnie the Pooh take on Woody the Woodpecker. So this one
Man,
seems
there's 2 of like the
nicest. Yeah,
like the most like
It'd be,
No.
Magoo of all characters.
it'd
Listen.
be so hard to like say Winnie the Pooh's just getting pecked up, but I
I
can't
used to
see it any
have-
other way.
I used to have wood siding on a house that I lived in, and my bedroom faced east. And in the morning, there was a woodpecker that just constantly pecked the side of this house. I mean, constantly. It was vicious. I hated it. I don't want Peter to get mad about this, but I wanted to harm the woodpecker. I'll be honest, or at least relocate the woodpecker. I'll say that. I didn't want to harm the
relocate.
woodpecker. I wanted to relocate.
But that
the
wasn't
woodpecker.
Woody the Woodpecker. Woody the Woodpecker is a cartoon character, David.
It doesn't matter.
He was
He's
not-
pecking Winnie. No way Winnie could put up a fight here.
Oh yeah,
Woody
no,
wins
That's
all
Woody
day.
Yeah.
Woodpecker. Yeah, I mean, he just wants some honey, man. That's all he wants.
That's it.
That's all he wants.
A little bit of honey.
So we got the 3 seed Willy Wonka taking on Waluigi from Mario.
God, this may be the most torn I've ever been in these, because Willy Wonka is he's a cerebral assassin. Like, he engineered the deaths of several children and made them all look like accidents. Like, he is a sociopath, like H.H. Holmes, but if he made candy. But Waluigi,
He's kind of messed up too, right? He's like the bad Luigi.
Yeah.
he's the bad Luigi.
But the thing is like if they met in a random encounter, though, I feel like where Willy Wonka's a little bit more, he thinks out those things.
I'm
whereas,
predicting
like, on the
I'm predicting that ChatGPT would have Willy Wonka enlisting an army of Oompa Loompas, and in that case, I don't think Waluigi has a chance. I'm going with Willy Wonka.
Yeah, because again, they can use whatever weapons at their disposal. I think the Oompa Loompas could be a weapon, and also like the chocolate river.
Yep.
Like, I think he could potentially drown Waluigi in that. I think he
Yep.
went. He might murder the guy, to be honest with you.
Yeah. He did it to those kids.
So does
Yeah.
Waluigi like command, or is this strictly Bowser? What are those little brown Hershey's Kiss looking things that you get like
thwomps?
Thumps? Yeah, like so. What if it's just like a back and forth between
But
Thumps and Oompa Loompas?
those things have
and
been
then-
in existence since way before Waluigi.
Yeah, I can't go Waluigi
Yeah,
here.
it's,
I
it's the
gotta
master.
Willy?
It's the master of candy, Willy Wonka.
Okay, and then we are going with Wario taking on Woody from Toy Story.
How
So this one's
many Mario characters are in this?
Two.
two?
Okay. Only
Wario
two.
and
Mario Kart.
Mario and
Well, go ahead.
in Mario Kart.
Yeah, how many
characters?
Mario Kart characters would be in this?
In this one today?
Yeah,
There's only two in this one. Today.
only two. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Man, Woody. from
Where is
Toy
War
Story.
Turtle from?
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Pokemon. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Squirtle, War Turtle, Blastoise.
Man, Woody.
Okay.
Woody's seen some things, man. Woody's survived some things.
Do you think size would be an issue though?
Who's Woody fighting?
Wario.
I'm really invested into this
Yeah.
segment, as you can
Woody
tell.
again. Woody could enlist a lot of toy help. I'm going Woody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
They go
going Woody.
travel together.
Yep.
Ooh, that's a big. To me, that's an upset. But I see where your logic is on that one. Dave, are you in agreement, or?
Yeah, sure.
He
I'll
just
agree.
gave up. That was
I forgot again who he's fighting.
He's
I
been-
just
He's just been worn down, and he just
Real
gave
quick.
up.
feel like I'm in
Before-
Catholics combat.
Yeah. Before we move on to the last round, the next round, who's your Mario Kart character? Who are you choosing?
For me,
Yeah.
Princess Peach.
Oh, really? I did not see that. Okay, Dave, do you have a?
Yoshi.
They're like the
we
same.
could've-
Princess
we
Peach
could've
and
all
Yoshi are
had a-
like the same. Just little and quick. I like that.
Yep.
We could all have race because I'm Yoshi as well. So maybe one time we'll do that. Little. Have you ever seen the game where you play don't drink and drive, where you play Mario Kart,
Oh yeah.
but you have
Yeah.
you have a
Yeah.
beer,
But drunk?
but you have to pull over to drink. Yeah. Well, so you start the race, and if you have a can of beer, and so you either drive the race, but you have to finish the beer before you finish the race, but you can't drive and drink at the same
okay.
time. So
No,
you
I've
have to
never
pull
heard
over
that
and
before.
stop.
That's pretty
And then,
funny.
yeah, that would be a good game. Okay, so we've got Woody from Toy Story taking on War Turtle. This one to me still, I'm going. I feel like a Pokemon just is.
I mean, they're ready for
Toy.
battle. They're
Right.
they're literally bred for battle. So yeah, I think I'll go with War Turtle on that one.
All right, War Turtle it is. I don't know who that is or what that is, but I'll
He's
say
a turtle
he
that
wins.
likes war.
A turtle of war.
Yeah.
There you go. And then we've got Willy Wonka taking on Woody the Woodpecker.
It's Willy Wonka. He
Willy.
turns that stupid woodpecker into a. I don't know what he turns him into.
And then we've got
Some sort
Willy
of
Wonka
candy.
taking on the Pokemon War Turtle in our final battle to see who goes on to the
The
tournament
idea
of
that
champions.
ChatGPT could even have enough input information to decide this is just wild to me.
Well, you'd be surprised, Dave, because it's got a lot
Yeah.
of information.
All right. Let it rip.
So, War Turtle. War Turtle, it looks like. I think I've been saying it wrong the entire time.
That's
War
the same
Turtle. Strong, durable, trained for battle. I think somebody said that. Semi-aquatic agility, known for being a solid middle evolution fighter with tactical defense and range attacks. Willy Wonka is an eccentric genius. Confectionery chaos lord. Abilities, trap-based combat via chocolate factory, unpredictable mind, possible child safety indifference. We've alluded to that. He does have an Oompa Loompa army, potentially weaponized candy, psychological warfare. Dude, Willie is twisted, brother. Twisted.
When you
And
break
he's
it down
known
like
for
that,
turning a chocolatier into a psychological endurance test. No holds barred. Going to start out with a lot of range attacks. War Turtle is going to open with Water Gun and Aqua Tail. I guess those are a couple of moves. Devastating if you're not armored or a trained fighter, which I don't believe Willie is. Willie's going to try to retaliate with chocolate syrup cannons or exploding gumdrops. But War Turtle is going to come out winning in round one. They broke this down, Dave, into 3 different rounds. Because in the second round, War Turtle... Wonka actually says to him, War Turtle, have you ever tasted a candy so sour it bends time? War Turtle looking confused. Wonka is unpredictability and riddles might throw lesser fighters off. And Wonka actually edges him out here in psychological disruption. I don't think he did anything to him. He just kind of confused him a little bit. So regardless, the judges sided with Wonka. And then in round 3, close quarters here. War Turtle skull bash and shell defense make him a brutal brawler. Wonka might pull a trapdoor move or use invisible gobstopper mines. You got to watch out for those. But unless he's secretly Batman, he's going down when his shell hits the fan, and the winner is Wartortle. He wins while Wonka is crafty and dangerous in his domain. Wartortle is literally designed for battle, and a no-holds-barred fight. Sheer power, durability, and battle instincts outmatch whimsical sadism. Unless, of course, Wonka has secretly been a steel type all along. I don't know what that means, but Wartortle wins this one.
Whimsical sadism. That's
Yeah,
I like that.
I like that a lot.
I like that. Willy Wonka is a whimsical sadist. I like it. It's good stuff.
So we'll send it over to finish out this week's submissions to Reddit, Discord, all the fun stuff.
Reddit, we just had a couple of goats checking in. No big deal. We got some from Sly Fox. Femini checked in. How about that? The prompt this week that went through Reddit and I think I put it on Twitter also and on the No Go Patrol Discord was partially from our friends over at Nerdcast. Their prompt portion was three-parter. Number one, Mount Rushmore for favorite artists, most obscure song you like, and is there a better kickoff song than Uprising by Muse? Our prompt was, would you rather be sticky or itchy? That was a horrible one. Did not really go over well with everybody. It doesn't seem like they don't like being uncomfortable. Would the two of you like to weigh in on the four prompts first before we go to the people?
Give me the prompt again.
Okay, number one, sticky or itchy?
Can I scratch the itch? Or does it
You do
just
whatever
keep
you
coming
want, man.
back?
As we have
Does it-
established multiple times,
Well,
this is America.
So the reason I thought of this is I saw it on another podcast, and then currently, not city related podcast, but in a different. And then currently, this past week, within the Cole household, we've been battling a little bout of poison ivy, which has been, if you've had it before, annoying. And so it just happened to line up that I saw those at the same time, the podcast, and then we were dealing with it. So I was like, oh, that'd be a interesting little prompter there. So, but I feel here's where I'm leaning towards sticky is because you get a little almost like satisfaction when you scratch that itch. You know what I'm like? It's not good. You're not supposed to scratch because it can spread it and all that type of stuff. But
No,
like,
that's an old wives'
there's-
tale, I think. I'm scratching.
they were saying because like if you break the skin, it opens up for more possibility of infection because you break off the top
Oh, yeah.
and then that type of stuff. But there's no like good side that you can find to being sticky. I feel like.
Well, here's the
so-
question. Yeah, so I'm right in line with you. Right in line with you. Because for me, if I can scratch the itch and it can be, resolved that way, I'm gonna prefer the itch. Stickiness really drives me crazy.
I
But if
think
it's perpetual itchiness, I don't know, man.
I think the
that could make
question
you go
implies
insane.
that it's perpetual and that there's no
And
relief.
then
Or
I think
even
I'm
scratching
going
it doesn't solve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going
And-
sticky.
I mean,
that would make
I was
me go
gonna say,
insane.
we've all been in scenarios to where we are, post sporting event or post like a beach trip where you've got that like suntan feel that you've been out all day and it's got that like stickiness to it. That's livable. Constant itchiness could put me in the loony bin.
Yeah, it would be there.
The madness that would create if I've got
getting
just like
itchy.
little
I'm getting
minor
itchy
itches
thinking
like
about
from
it.
dry skin, yeah, and it's so irritating. Yeah, I think sticky is the play.
That's
for
the play.
sure. Yeah, the other part of this was from our friends at Nerdcast, and these are music related. So your Mount Rushmore of your favorite artists, the most obscure song that you like, and if there is a better kickoff song than Uprising by Muse. I would like to lead off with that because there is a fantastic 90s song that would be a great kickoff song by, I believe the band was Blur, and Song 2
Song 2.
would be
Woohoo.
would be a great kickoff song to me.
But here's the thing: is I think another club has that.
But I'm just saying, in general, like I think that's a good one.
In
and that-
general, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
that
it is a good one.
That's
How about an obscure song?
your.
I mean, obscure is so relative. Like, it's so objective.
Let's say, yeah, give
Subjective,
me an example. Of
sorry.
what you'd consider
Yeah.
consider an
Because like what I think is
song.
what you think is obscure, I might be like, I mean, I listen to that all the time. It's on
So
repeat.
I think a perfect example of an obscure song is the song "Peaches" by
Okay,
the
President of the
they might-
United States.
The President of the United States of America.
Yeah,
I
President
think
of the
that
United
is
States.
extremely obscure. I think a lot of the stuff that the band Cake has come out
Okay.
with over their what would you say? Not era, but their just existence. I think a lot of that is obscure. I think the Bloodhound Gang was very obscure.
That's obscure.
You and Me, Baby, Ain't Nothing But Mammals. That's a strong shout. Yeah, so I mean, make it your own, baby. Make it your own.
How about here's one because I think it gets over. First of all, I don't think the band is that popular. I think they had a couple of hits, and I think this song is less popular than their biggest hit. So I'm going to take the band Jimmy Eat World, which you would probably know them for The Middle, which was like their biggest hit. But they had a song called Sweetness, and that song is awesome. And I think
that is not an obscure song. That
you don't
song
think that
rules,
song's
dude.
obscure? That's what I'm saying. This is totally subjective. Like, how do we
Yeah.
say? How do we
Yeah.
say it's? I don't know what's obscure, but I bet Dave doesn't know that song that well.
I don't think so. I don't think I know
then
the
it's
song
obscure.
as well. Let's
Isn't that the? Yeah, but that's the one that's in. What's that one NHL hockey game that it was like
Is it
that
in
you
one?
couldn't think. I'm pretty sure it's the Sweetness. You couldn't think of that song without. I couldn't think of that game without that song. But you're right. It wasn't one of their like. You would never, if you said Jimmy Eat World, give me. Yes.
Oh, I know that song. Yeah,
It's obscure. Though. I mean, I know the songs you were.
Yes. I tell you. Yeah. Such a good.
We are playing
I
music on this podcast now, just so everybody knows.
Just really
tell
short
you-
bites, so we don't have to pay for copyrights, but
Yeah,
just small
right.
bites.
But
That would
I
almost
but
be a
like
great-
I knew the songs you were talking about too, Dave. I don't. That's why I think that's a hard question to answer.
Yeah, what makes a song obscure? Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like it would almost have to be like somewhat gimmicky, maybe, to where it's like to your point, like a lot of like
Maybe?
Peaches and that type of stuff. Like, do you remember when we got into the
cultish?
"I'm Awesome" by Spose, or is that just Jake? That we
It has to
it's
be
just
just
like
Jake.
okay, then but it's just like such a goofy like song but it's so catchy that you can't help but like not sing it. It's great. Like
Yeah.
that's
It's right. DH, you guys are both on it. It's very
Too hard.
it's a very subjective. I think you would almost have to go to a place where it's like, remember you guys the Lone Classic on KC95. They always play very what I consider to be obscure 70s and 80s rock songs. But you know,
There's a,
if you're into cult music, then it's not obscure, right? If you're
Right,
into like
it's
indie
subjective.
music, it's not obscure. So it's
There's a station on Sirius XM called Deep Cuts, and it's
Yeah.
like it's songs from
yeah.
popular artists for sure, but just songs that
I
are
want to say it's songs from like when you're a
Not
fan of the
popular.
band and not the hits.
Right.
Do you think
Where you're-
how about just to give it a classification like there will occasionally be songs by popular or mega popular artists that fly under the radar for whatever reason. They didn't get like the promotion or they never caught on radio. I mean, you have your favorite artist. This can kind of dovetail into that part, but there are, and one of my Rushmore artists is going to be the band Incubus. There are some Incubus songs that I don't know that I've ever heard played live that are just incredible to listen to, like on the track. You know what I mean?
my
like,
favorite Incubus song ever, and I've never seen Incubus live before. Is Aqueous Transmission. Are you familiar with that song?
It's great. It's great, but I wouldn't consider that to be obscure either. But I'm also an Incubus fan.
See, I
So,
think
yeah.
that would be relatively obscure to like non-Incubus fans
Oh yeah, I would give you that for sure.
because I don't think you're hearing that on the radio. Maybe I'm wrong, but
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think that's a good shout.
It's
For
a
sure.
good. That's a good also qualification. Like, would it be on the band's set list? Like, there's so many great songs that I
Yeah.
can think of, but I know like I would never get to see those live ever. So that's actually a really interesting point that you bring up, that it's like, I know like some bands every once in a while they'll just for fun mix up a set list and they'll play like one different song that's like a deep cut or something. And the joy you see people get when they're like, I can't believe they played this song. It wasn't even a hit. Like, man, like that.
Yeah,
that's a good question.
You really have to see those bands a lot of times to get into those deep cuts. Like, I'm just going with this Mount Rushmore thing, and I want to say that I think your Mount Rushmore can constantly kind of be cycling a couple of the spaces or even one space too, just depending on where.
That's why I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
Just depending on where you are in life. Like, I would say that for me, the two that will never not be on there, for me, will be Incubus and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think they are like carved in stone for me, like locked in. Have loved them since I was 12 years old. Nothing has deterred me away from those two bands. But to build on that, like, I think I've seen the Chili Peppers over a dozen times. I'm the person that gets excited when they play random songs from the 80s that no one knows. Like, there's a song called Me and My Friends that was from like their very first album, like 1981, that is just like this speed funk punk all bass. Just not a great song by any means, but when they play it, people go crazy if they know that song. So that's perfect. But yeah, the other two on the Rushmore, man, I cycle through so much though. Like, if I'm including genres, I guess I got to throw Slipknot on there just because in terms of like hard rock, that's still my go-to. And then I have to think about my fourth. One of you guys have a beginning to your Rushmore?
So we can include bands then, I guess, not just individual artists.
Artists.
Sounds like.
Artists, yeah.
Okay. So probably my favorite. I mean, I don't know. Let me think about this for a second. Let me think. Gary Clark Jr. is on my list for sure.
You do like him.
I'm a big Gary Clark Jr. guy. I've seen him in concert several times. Going to see him again here on.
He's playing at the pageant, isn't he?
Yeah, in August or September, I think.
Yep.
We'll go again. He's amazing. He's there. I'm going to go. I mean, Eminem is on that list as well for me. Love Eminem. Always have. This is going to be obscure for sure because I don't think this would make a lot of people's Mount Rushmores, but I love the band live a lot. I'm going to see live in August, I think. They're coming to St. Louis in July, and I can't go because I'm going to be on vacation. But they're coming to Branson, Missouri, or just outside of Branson. There's an amphitheater there.
A lot of
so I'm going there to see, and they get pretty big acts. I'm going to go see them in Collective Soul, but I love live a lot. And then I would say kind of in that same genre maybe, the Smashing Pumpkins or Bush, probably. I love grunge music. It's my favorite, and so I would throw them in the mix.
I didn't know you were that big of a Pumpkins fan. That's interesting.
Yeah, I love them, man.
Bill Burr's half brother.
Yeah.
No kidding. Don't bring it up around him though. He doesn't like it. Man, I hate this question. I love music.
Just say your obvious one.
Well, just because I could have a Mount Rushmore for every genre. Like, so this is where it's like, man, how do I leave them out or them out? Yeah, I think for me, Blink-182's on there. Just that was like the first band I remember like truly like knowing the words and knowing. To your point, I knew I would know every song on the CD, not just the hits. And if anything, I almost started to dislike some of the hits because they came so popular. You know what I'm saying? So Blink's on there. Pink Floyd, just because of the memories that I have with my dad, and he really like introduced, that's his favorite band, and just really introduced a lot of like classic rock. But that one was always the one that was a constant for him. And one of the tattoos I have is for him, and it's for Time, one of his favorite song by Pink Floyd. There's a band called The Story So Far. They're like a pop punk band, and I'm so excited that we're going to be going to see them. they're somehow coming to town, and it'll be my first time going to the factory. I think both of you have probably
love
been
the
there. I
Factory.
still
So
I still
good.
haven't been there yet.
It's great,
And
great
so,
venue.
is it? Okay, cool. And it's just one of those bands that just never seemed to come to St. Louis, except for the one time that they did. I was same deal. I was out of town. But man,
Wait,
this
who was
fourth
it
one's
again?
Really, the story so far.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
They're, I mean, actually, the time that we went to see Dina up in Chicago, I remember.
That's
like,
right.
I was like, what are the odds that they're in Chicago? And she was like, we can go see them. And I was like, no, like they're like a lot of jumping, people crowd surfing type of band. I'm really getting stuck on this fourth one because I'm trying to venture out. And like I've been listening to a lot of hip hop lately, but I know like the people I've been listening to I wouldn't put on my Mount Rushmore, like Cube or Gangstar, obviously Eminem. And then I grew up listening to a lot of country, and so it's like, man, Johnny Cash was big for me, and those types. So man, this fourth one's really.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know why
the fourth one you gotta have a rotation.
Well, the reason I always hate
alternate.
these. The reason I always hate these questions is just because for some reason when I feel like I speak them into the universe, somebody's gonna be like Femni's gonna pop out of nowhere and be like, "That's it. That's all you're allowed to listen to for the rest of your life," and then you're stuck. Like I just always feel like when people are like, "What's your favorite song?" It's like, oh man, like to your point, it's like, man, it depends on the mood. So yeah, that fourth one's gonna be a sticker for me for a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough.
Did you think of your fourth?
Led Zeppelin, and I'm a
There you
late
go.
I'm a late in
Zeppelin's
life Led
such a
Zeppelin fan. Like obviously, it's an older generation's band, but like the last 5, 8, 10 years or whatever, I've just gone through that whole catalog, and I've said this multiple times on this podcast and off this podcast. I think that Jimmy Page is the greatest hook writer in the history of music. I don't think anybody's ever written more guitar hooks for hit songs than him. It's like the man was born to like write catchy guitar tunes and just play just incredibly. Yeah, it's a bummer that I will never get to see them. That's one of the really sad points in life is that I never really had the opportunity to see the full Led Zeppelin because John Bonham died so young, and it just never happened. So
I could throw 311 into the mix for me, and the Beatles as well. They could also be in there. I don't know, man. That's a hard question. The music questions are tough because I was looking through my Spotify, just like my top songs from 2024, and I was like, okay, I named those 4. Now what else? And it's like, wow, there's a bunch other ones that I listen to a
that's
lot.
a dangerous game too, going through your Spotify playlists, because it's like, oh, I got really on this kick. I'm listening to a lot
Spotify
of
could be
big
a-
timers.
Yeah.
Listen to a lot of
Spotify
Juvenile.
could be a couple.
I've seen it in concert
3 months
recently,
that-
by the way.
Big timers?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
What?
Yeah, remember he sent us the video from there. He was at the concert. and it
I
was
went to
just
it was Lil Wayne, the Big Timers, Juvenile.
Oh, number one stunner. Like that one. Did you
yeah.
think of me? Did the light hit the ice and twinkle and glisten?
Of course, Dave. I think I sent you a video of the song.
Oh, that's the
I've
greatest
never in
rap
my life
lyric.
seen so much weed, ever. And I'm not talking about just vapes. I'm talking about straight up, blunts, like everywhere.
Trying to explain to people the shit show that was like late 90s, early 2000s rap, when you had like them and Wayne and Juvenile doing his thing, and then you had 2001 came out, and like then you had a little later on you had 50 come out, and you had Eminem doing his thing. Like, oh my God, what a time to be alive that was.
Well, it was really good. It was really, and it still holds up. I think. I will say this though: the Big Timers and Juvenile totally outperformed Wayne. Like completely outperformed
That's
Wayne.
awesome. Well,
Wayne was
probably on the
fine.
syrup. Yeah.
Oh my God, he was on something. It wasn't his fault though. They turned the music up too loud, and you couldn't hear his vocals. The levels were way better for the Big Timers and Juvenile, but then at the end they all came back together and they did some other songs. A couple of them I can't say on the air for profanity's sake, but there were some really, really. I mean, it was great. So nostalgic and fun. That's what I
Oh my
like
God.
more than anything
Yes.
is just nostalgic and fun. People are like, "What's your taste in music?" Well, it's all over the board, but most of it I listen to is stuff that I grew up listening to,
Yeah.
and that can be rap, that could be grunge, that could be one-hit wonders from the '90s. Like I just love all of that stuff.
There were a lot of that got like put on display a lot. You remember like MTV Spring Break? Like that used to be where like
Yes.
Yeah.
see all
Yes.
those, and it was just like that was the hot for the year is whoever performed on MTV, like
I saw
Cisco's Thong
I saw
Song and all
Flo
that type of
Rida
stuff.
at
Like,
MTV Spring Break 2007, was it, Doug?
Did
I
you
think
see
it
the
was.
Yin Yang Twins there?
They were not part of MTV Spring Break, but I
thought
did
they
see
were.
them there. So
Okay,
I saw
that's
Flo
right.
Rida and Yin Yang Twins in the same week. That was pretty sick.
Amazing.
Yeah, Eric, did you ever come up with your fourth before I?
I might have to finish the episode out with it because
Okay,
I feel like I nail one and then I'm like,
either that, or you could
no,
put
I
it
can't
on.
commit to that.
You could put it on Discord too. So we did have a couple. We had flip flop kitten hands. Critchley opted for an out of position Durkin at center back over Yarrow and banished both Watson and Yarrow to the depths of the bench. This man is exactly what we needed right now. Also, big shout out to Edu for staying calm and sliding home the PK amidst everything else going on. Couldn't agree with that anymore. My goat, the goat, Femney weighed in, which we were talking about Femney. We've been missing Femney. Must have
who's
gotten
Femney?
put in
Femney also-
solitary. Exactly. Femney must have been in solitary for a little while. This is like, I think this isn't really a submission as much as it is a dad joke.
Jesus.
Did you know that I keep a bat next to my bed just in case someone breaks in and wants to learn about echolocation? What?
That's Fimney's submission
That's
this week?
Femney's submission.
That Fimney's an interesting cat.
That's so good. DH's goat, they call me Sly Fox, weighed in, said we won. South End PK stoppage time winner. I know it's one game, but it's clear we've been missing a spark this season, which came from the style of play this team was built around. I'm thankful we moved on from Olaf when we did, and also upset it took this long. The sticky/itchy question is terrible for me, but I'm going sticky all day. Most obscure song, Tupac, by the band called Matt's Dad's Basement.
Yes, I know that.
That
See, I don't know
okay,
that one.
Yeah. Okay, Sly Fox just took over. The
That's a
Ghost
good
Guys,
one.
'cause
That's a
didn't
good
know
one.
that
Great example of a. Oh,
The problem
Dave,
is
you
it's
don't
an
know that?
obscure song. See, I was going obscure song by like a fairly well-known band. That's a really obscure
Yeah,
Maybe you should
band
have
as
picked an
well.
obscure band.
Yeah,
Yeah, how about that?
that's
So,
a good one
Dave,
though.
you've
Okay.
never heard that song?
No, maybe. I'll check it out
Oh,
later.
You probably
Yeah,
have.
check it out. It's great.
Okay, so two from him to wrap up Reddit. Okay, where would City be? This is a thought exercise. Where would City be if we had started the season with Critchley as manager? After one game, it's really hard to say where. What you do know is the style that he's going to bring, and it's going to be aggressive, and it's going to be pressing, and it's going to be open. Which I think, and this is totally speculative, because you also assume that everybody's healthy.
I'll say injuries.
Yeah,
injuries,
but
yeah,
I
that's
think
tough to say.
playing too wide open, you're probably better off. I think you're probably closer to that 8-9 spot, because I think that if they had taken some chances in some of those games that were close and played a little more open and gone for the win instead of like settling for the draw or whatever, you'd have picked up a handful of more points. But I also don't think you have to give credit to Olaf for kind of reinforcing defensive principles. So I think they'd be better, but I think we'd still be grasping for consistency.
Well,
They'd be
here's the thing.
entertaining.
I mean, they were pretty good under Hackworth at the end, and they played a similar style. I mean, I think they would probably have been pretty good. Same talent that Hackworth had, same type of style, essentially. I mean, it's probably different. I'm sure that the real soccer hardcores would disagree, but it seemed similar anyway. It seemed reminiscent of the old days, and they were successful under Hack. So I think they would probably be in a better spot for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dave. I think it's like in that low playoff picture, if anything.
Yeah.
The other thing that to give Olaf some credit and what you're seeing maybe a little bit more with like Critch and then also Hack was both those guys have a lot of experience with the team and the players. They may not have been necessarily on the first team in training, but Hack's obviously been behind the scenes and with them. And then Critch was talking about, he's been with City 2 for quite a while. They said he came over in like 2021. So like he's been around the system. He probably has seen the inner and outs of like these players and maybe what fits and what works and all that. So like, he has a little bit more experience with the players, but I still think when you factor in injuries and just that type of stuff going, I still think where this team is and where we kind of predict them at the beginning of the year is maybe lower level, away playoff team.
Yeah,
going into playoffs,
where
not
we
in the
kind of
home field.
assume, to DH's point, where we kind of assume a team with a full season under hack would have ended up, like a competitive team that's better than what they've been out there, but still like not a flawless team, maybe not a contender for a
exciting.
championship, but a contender for the playoffs for sure. And last but not least, we're celebrating this week. Let's hear your favorite dessert that wraps up Reddit. That's from Sly Fox, who has absolutely taken over Reddit.
Favorite dessert? Probably either ice cream or cheesecake.
Yeah, it's ice cream for me, and I like all of it, all the ice cream. I don't eat a lot of it, but I do love it, man. I really do, and I don't because I'm not like a big sweet guy. I don't get into like the real like, like the creme brulee stuff. Like the people like dessert pies and different things. But but for me, it's all ice cream.
We had a dessert debate go on as far as on Saturday as well. So if you and Sarah are sitting there and you're drinking, or you guys are eating Oreos,
Oh God!
would you
Oh Jesus!
would you drink the milk that she's been dipping her
No.
Oreo cookies in? Okay.
Oh, God, no.
So you're on the same boat as pretty much everybody but a single person that was there that day. So
Oh my God, that sounds horrific. Oh,
I'm so
absolutely
glad you brought
not.
that up, Eric.
I was like,
Who would
thinking
do
about,
that?
Like cookies and
Oh,
someone like
let's
that.
let's take that discussion offline.
Oh, that is horrible.
I mean, if you're thinking about who was there with us on
Yeah.
Saturday,
I don't
and
know
who-
which one of you
and-
would do that.
and it's not one of
Well,
us.
I'll narrow it down for us.
It's not
It
one of the
wasn't
two of us, and it's not a female.
It is a guy.
It is a male.
That's disturbing. I lost a lot of respect tonight.
It is a male that you may or may not have shared living space with.
Oh my God. Oh,
He might have. He may have been drinking your leftover milk.
he might have been, dude. Come to think about it.
God.
Come to think, I think he might have a couple of times.
Oh no!
That's horrific. That is serial killer stuff right there. That's not good.
All right, moving over to
That is stomach turning. That is awful. I'm so appalled by this.
We should put them on blast and really put a poll out there on our socials as well to just like really hammer home the fact.
Just
that-
put a zoomed in mustache face. Just the most grotesque looking face you could come up with. And this man is drinking your leftover Oreo milk.
wanted poster
Oh.
for drinking finger milk.
And you could put the wanted poster on the back of a milk carton. And then it kind
that
of
would be That's
There you go.
that's very meta. Okay, into the submissions from Discord. There was a poll put out for Sticky versus Itchy. Sticky was the winner, 67% to 33%.
we have percentages on it.
Yeah. Well, there's only 9 votes, so
Okay.
I tried to make it seem like there were more people, Dave. But
Yeah.
let's see what we got on here. Chris talked about. He said went to Momo this morning. That would have been yesterday. Can confirm. Very good. That was one of the brunch recommendations. We talked about Colton, Fetlord Colton, and his nephew going to Felix's after the game. Got the cheesy garlic bread and a Dogtown pizza, and everything was fantastic. Man, there's not a lot on Discord today. Let's see what else we got.
People are in
here.
shock over the win.
Yeah, and you're just disgusted by the finger milk.
Oh.
John,
Finger milk.
our buddy John Love answered to point number 3 from Nerdcast, which was, is there a better kickoff song than Uprising by Muse? He said, I put in the survey most weeks that the hype video was better when it was just Uprising. So does that mean no pictures of the guys? No,
Hasn't there always been pictures?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought because I know they had the heartbeat, the thump 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 thump, and then they did, and then I think year 2 was when they had like the Carnell like hype, like yelling like this is our time, this is our moment, like from the first year, and then obviously once he left they ditched that, and I think they went back to just keeping it simple with the pictures of the guys and like the heartbeat thumping to go along with the red, but I don't think they've added there's kind of like a certain queue of songs, I guess, but everybody knows like "Get to Your Seat" once Uprising starts playing. So
Yeah. And that's about it for the new ones. Like I said, if everybody was just hungover. I did want to let you guys know that I caught some heavy flack from my pork steak take from last week, which was to be expected.
Yeah, you've been dealing with that for years, though.
That's fine. KVK did post a picture of the 30-ounce pork steak from Heavy Smoke, and it looks really good. I just know that it's an inferior meat, and I won't be imbibing. That meat will not touch these boy lips ever because it's my choice.
Yeah, your lips, your choice, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I did remember one because it went to like our messages, so I want to make sure we.
Oh,
do,
yeah, for
another
sure.
one. Our buddy Matthew Keller, the traveler who only really gets to make the midweeks games, came in and he said, "Morning, y'all. Got a couple things for you. What level of grief are we in now that we won, or has it reset?" Number 2, as far as beans not being in chili, that's a Texas thing. They believe if you want to taste the meat and the spices over anything else. Me personally, I love my beans in chili and think Texas is weird for not having beans. And third, if Critchley turns this team around, we finish the season strong, and the players like him, would it not be smart idea to hire him full time?
Man.
So I'll answer these
Matt,
in reverse.
I'm a big Matt fan, by the way. Let's just put that out there. Anybody that drives a truck during the week and still finds time to be like a committed fan, that's awesome, man. I hope that these couple of hours that we sit here and F around with this podcast, I hope you laugh along with us because that's awesome, man. I wish you could make it to more games, too.
I wonder if he's going to be ranked on the listener or the submitter combat by the end of the year. That could be great.
Well,
Could be a dark horse.
Yeah.
Could be a sleeper.
He gets to use a truck.
Truck driver, throw a truck driver in there. That's it.
I'll answer in reverse here. Question number 3, and only because I think I forgot the first one. But question number 3, I think read the questions again, Eric, because I had it, and then Dave sidetracked me.
I did. That's what I did.
I'll keep you in your order. We'll go 3-1. So if Critchley turns this team around, we finish the season strong, and the players like him, would it not be smart idea to hire him full time?
Yes. So the answer is yes, because I think we should have hired Hack at the end of last year. That would be my take on it. So I do believe that you should just stick with what is working, and it seems to match the style.
It's almost like his question answered itself, like if we turn it around, they start playing better, and the players like him. I mean, it'd be almost weird not to hire somebody like that. You know what I mean? And
go ahead.
What do you think?
No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Oh, I just think, and he knows the system. He's been around for a while. He should have a pretty decent relationship with Lutz, I would feel like, or whoever else is going to be at the higher ups. So I think depending on what we see going forward, could be why not.
I think the question itself is kind of leading us to the answer to the first one, which means I believe we may have receded into the denial stage after one win over 3 months. There's a strong danger there that we've moved back into denial stage.
That's a good point.
So, I mean,
I did it this whole Premier League season. So what's wrong with that?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point.
So
that's where we're at.
And then what was the middle one? I'm sorry.
As far as beans not being in chili,
oh yeah,
that's a
the
Texas
beans and
thing.
chili. So
They believe if you want to taste the meat and spices over anything else, you take the beans out. Is that the only place then it's served without beans? Because I remember I remember I think it was David said it on the last episode. Like, yeah, that is more like what chili, I guess, enthusiasts say.
I think there's some traditionalists that would say
beans.
that.
Traditionalists,
yeah. I don't know if it has. I think that's a poor argument because I don't think it adds a lot of flavor. It's more of a consistency thing for me, I think. I wouldn't say that, like, taking a bite of chili and like, oh, wow, this is really overpowering with a bean flavor. But to me, the spices and the meat would shine through there. But it does give it a little bit of a consistency. So I think it's a poor argument, to be honest with you.
I may have a chili hot take here, but I think one of you brought it up also on the last episode. To me, the number one chili there is white chicken chili. Like,
so
to me,
good.
that's
I don't think
always
that's a
so
hot
good,
take.
dude.
I think that's
it's so good.
That's a strong take that I would agree with. Absolutely.
I think you could spice it up. I think you can sweeten it up. I think
Yep.
it gives a lot of play with it. But every time I have like that's my
I like
favorite.
it. I like it. Good submission, Matt. That's a good way to end it.
Good submission. Good submissions, everyone, I
Yep.
would say. As always, Eric, where can people send these submissions into?
Keep them coming in. We love them each week on Instagram. We're South End Supporters. Our Twitter and our Reddit is @SES_podcast STL. Make sure you're also following us on our Facebook page, as well as checking out our YouTube to keep up with all things South End Supporters.
Special thanks to our sponsors, as always, especially our title sponsor, Ready to Live Wellness at 1530 South Kings Highway Boulevard. If you are looking to get swole like Eric Cole, you got to check out Ready to Live Wellness. And Warrior Logo Wear, our studio sponsor, the official swag sponsor of South End Supporters at 12 East Main Street in Mascoutah, Illinois. STL Kalachi, which brought you the match week preview, as they do every week, 1530 South Kirkwood Road in Sunset Hills. And Felix's Pizza Pub, which is always bringing you South End Submission, 6401 Clayton Avenue in Dogtown. Check them out before and after and during every city match this season. And then Elite FT, which was part of our Tuesday episode, they are at 101 The Game Drive in Glen Carbon, Illinois, inside the Sports Academy. They bring you news and notes from the back post every single Tuesday. For Eric Cole, for the Monday Morning Center back, Dave Wyckoff, my name is David Heck. Thank you so much for listening. This has been South End Supporters. We'll see you next week, and until then, let's go City.